Definitely so. So that was from the Hurricane Hunters flight. They fly in those C-130s into the middle of the storm there to get valuable information. And that's how we know how strong they are, because a lot of times, obviously, they're out over the open ocean. So we got to determine what the wind speeds are, what the pressure is, and that's how we know if it's a tropical storm or a hurricane or a tropical depression, or if it's strengthened or weakened. They fly those what the recon runs is basically what recon missions is what they call them, several times a day into those storms. There's Fiona right now. It is now moved into the Caribbean as we speak. It has winds of 60 miles an hour, so it is a tropical storm. It's got to get up well over 70 miles an hour to become a hurricane. So not there just yet. It's moving west at about 13 miles an hour, which means it is going to keep moving into the Caribbean, but likely going to take a little bit of a northern turn here over the next 24 hours or so, which means it would put Puerto Rico, parts of the Dominican Republic kind of directly in the path of the storm, potentially parts of the U.S. Virgin Islands and British Virgin Islands as well. So heavy rain, flooding, maybe even some of those mudslide situations, especially for the mountainous areas of Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic, and strong winds are given as that storm moves to the north. So there it's going to kind of track to the west, but then curve up to the north, potentially moving very close to either Puerto Rico or to the Dominican Republic, and likely strengthening as well. So you can see the forecast is for it to be a hurricane by early Monday morning, sometime as it's kind of moving close toward either a landfall in Puerto Rico or a landfall in the Dominican Republic. Now after that, it's going to keep on kind of moving up to the north and east, maybe brushing the Turks and Caicos Islands before intensifying even more. But at this point, it's just out over the open ocean, and a at least U.S. mainland landfall looks pretty unlikely, as this storm will kind of follow in the path of what Earl and Danielle did, the storms before this one, and just kind of stay out over the open ocean. So the immediate pressing concerns are for areas like Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic, but I don't see, Florida or the east coast of the U.S., at least at this point, not in the path of that storm. For us here locally, we had a lot of rain back in August and into early parts of September. By early parts of September, I mean like the first couple days of September. Then the faucets turned off again. It was nice to see the rain because it really did get rid of the drought across parts of North Texas. It's still some drought east of DFW, south of DFW, and then the worst of the conditions are southwest of DFW, where you still have some extreme drought stretching kind of from Stephenville down to Meridian to Hamilton, and then west to Eastland, a little bit of an extreme drought as well, extending out toward Abilene. The problem is we've been dry recently. The last couple weeks, the faucet has turned off, and our local lakes have started to drop again. They went up a little bit after we had the most recent rain. Now they're starting to drop again. When I updated this map from last week to this week, I did have to lower some of the lake totals because lakes are starting to drop again, given the fact we've been dry and it's been sunny and warm recently. Louisville to Ray Roberts, 1.5 to 3.5 feet low, depending on the lake there. Lavon's 5 feet low. Arlington's 1.5 feet low. Bridgeport is 7 feet low. Tawakoni's 3.5 feet low. Texoma is 1.5 feet low. Cedar Creek now back to 3.5 feet low. Richland Chambers 4.5 feet low off to the southwest. Granbury's 2 feet low. Whitney's, which continues to be quite low, is down at 7 feet low. And Possum Kingdom to the west is at 3.5 feet low. Don't have much rain in our future. It's just going to be a hot and dry weekend, and humid as well. 90 or above today, about 93, 94 across DFW. When you factor in the humidity, it will feel like the upper 90s, maybe even touching that 100-degree mark for the heat index, not the actual temperature. Now, the actual temperature could get close to 100 degrees by the middle part of next week. 97, 98, 97 next Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, which Thursday being the first day of fall. Near record heat on Wednesday, because the record on that day is 99 degrees. The rest of the 10-day forecast, most of the records are at or above 100, so I think we'll be safe as far as records are concerned, with the exception of next Wednesday. That's the day we'll be watching. A little cooler weather, though, potentially there at the end of the 10-day forecast, with 93 and 91 by next weekend and into the following week.
Yeah.